right. My name's Austin Esser. I'm the content marketer for Chiappetta Shoes. I'm sitting down with Tony Chiappetta here. We're going to have one last conversation in our now officially old shop.
Officially old.
Officially old. How's it feeling?
I haven't had too much time to think about it, which is probably a good thing. Maybe like 2 months ago, it was kind of like a bittersweet experience. You know, it's like you're starting to pack up and clean everything out and seeing a lot of old things that have been sitting around the shop. I've been here for 23 years and just memories of previous employees, friends, all that kind of stuff. So it was bittersweet. You know, moving 20,000 plus pairs of shoes and relocating has been a big move, as you can say. And yeah, it's just, it'll hit me once we probably get a month into the new shop, you know. So for the time being, it's exciting. And it's kind of just all full steam ahead getting into the new shop. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And then just kind of looking around, where do you see just kind of how far you guys have come from now what the new store looks like versus what we've been in the past and just the different experience that you're ready to offer?
Yeah, you know, it's our shop on 39th Avenue here has done a great job for us. You know, my parents took our business from a pretty small operation on 22nd Avenue in the 90s to this location. And, you know, it served us well for 23 years. And just seeing the progression of what they did between focusing on services and pit orthics, and then once my brother and I got into the business, being able to use this facility was huge. Where, you know, you look at a lot of businesses, and especially younger people, you know, you think about, oh, we want to grow, and you know, we want to try new things out, and I got these great ideas. And to be a responsible business owner and to be a successful business owner, you really got to focus on sustainable growth. You got to focus on working within your means. And that's probably one of the beauties of being a family business, is that, you know, I got a million ideas, but I got my family here to kind of keep the reins on me for not spending too much money and making sure that we still stick to our guns on what makes us special. And that recipe, the back and forth, sometimes it gets uncomfortable. You know, it can get a little hairy sometimes, but that back and forth vets out the bad ideas and make sure the good ideas come to fruition. And that's the best recipe that, you know, any small business can take, is that you want to have tough conversations on a regular basis, and a lot of tough conversations have been had in this building. So you know, that's the beauty of what I'm gonna remember. There's plenty of things, but you know, this shop did us well for a long period of time, and you know, we didn't jump the gun, we didn't expand too quickly, we did well with this building as much as we could, and you know, we were at the breaking point for the last 2-3 years, so we maxed it out.
Well, speaking of having those tough conversations, was it easier to have those conversations being around only family?
Well, yes and no. I mean, over the years, you know, coming out of college in 2008, most of our employees were really tight with, right? So, you know, we always like listening to ideas from everybody. And, you know, the tough conversations weren't just with family, you know, because we had marketing people, we had salespeople. Hey, we want to do this, we want to do that. And that's, again, the beauty of small business, is being able to go back and forth and having tough conversations with everybody in the shop to say, hey, this is a good idea, this is a bad idea. It's a give and take, you know, and, you know, you got to respect employees' thoughts and ideas and concerns, and you know, just make sure you stay true to what makes you special, and that's what we've done so far. So yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Then kind of looking around the store as well, just do you have any memories that would be like top one you'd love to talk about?
Met my wife right over there. That's going to be number one. Her mom scouted me out for about 6 months, and she was dealing with some bunion issues, which are very common. We love dealing with bunions. And she ended up having bunion surgery. My wife broke up with a ex-boyfriend at the time, and yada yada yada. A couple months go by, and she's like, "Hey, my daughter's available. Let's see if she needs some shoes." So she brings her in, and one thing leads to another. I think it was probably 2 visits in. I asked her out, and that was forever ago. It seems like so.
Wow.
That's definitely number one. Number two is I made my bones in this shop. I would say that I'm the best certified pet orthopedist in the country from a manufacturing and patient management standpoint. We had a lot of great people that came through this building. A lot of people that taught me a ton, and I learned. Going through college, I always knew that I was going to get into the shoe trade. So, from a skills standpoint, I wanted to build as much as I could from marketing, from running a business, from the pit orthotics, fixing feet and things like that. And, Teddy Reeder was probably one of my best friends in the business that taught me a lot from an engineering standpoint. And he had passed away about 6 years ago now. And he was a great guy from a operational standpoint and an engineering standpoint. He really helped us fine-tune how we make orthotics. And being able to say that you're the best from a manufacturing standpoint, it takes a commitment to skill. It takes a commitment to commitment, because every single day is an opportunity to screw up or do as best as you can. So, that was definitely something that I take pride in when it comes to being the best at what you do. Every day is an opportunity to get better, and that was something that was a mindset that I had in this building from a early age on. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then with speaking of pit orthotics, where I saw the new lab, it's looking pretty nice. Can you just talk about what went into going from what you've experienced in this lab and what you want to bring to the new lab, the new building?
So, our building here, pit orthotics is kind of really screwed up right now. When I first started, there was over 4,000 certified pit orthotists in the country. I'd argue there's less than 500, maybe less than 300 actual pit orthotists. There's a lot of people that say they're pit orthotists, but they just, here's an over-the-counter insert. I'm talking people that can sit down, assess somebody's foot, make a product by hand that works for them and that solves their problem. There's probably less than 250 people in the country that can do that. And my dad's generation, mid-'80s through the '90s, that was a big thing. A lot of shoe stores like us had that opportunity, and it was something that generation capitalized on. Went away early 2000s, still is not back, but I'm trying to bring it back. So I got a few friends of mine we're looking at really building this up. So our new lab, we're going from probably 300 square feet of overall space with our lab that we had in this 39th Avenue building to 500 square feet. It was the beauty of doing something new was that we had a totally fresh start. I could completely design it exactly how I wanted to, and I think it came out really nice between having the right amount of space. If we want to do classes, we can have the capacity to do that. Customers are going to be able to see into the new shop. There's a big window, 20-foot-ish window that you can look right into it. So, we like to say the workshop is the heart of the business. And, I wanted to allow people, kind of like a chocolatier type experience, allow people to see into the heart of the shop. And that's going to be the biggest thing. We got a lot of cool stuff in the new shop, but to me, on a daily basis, that's going to be, I would say, the most important part of our shop is being able to see into the shop. So we designed it so it's going to be, it's a workshop, but it's almost like a studio too. So, yeah.
And that's my favorite part too, where you really get to see where the magic happens inside of the store. So not everything's always behind the scenes, where now you get to see the craft and the workmanship that you guys are able to do with the new orthotics. So it's pretty cool to see just the transition of that.
Yeah, and we want to definitely going to be streaming a lot more, doing a lot more cooking class type experiences. So I want to bring our knowledge to the forefront and use that from a marketing standpoint to say, hey, we are the best at what we do.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
And then family business. So 100 years, that's not something to scoff at. That's an incredibly big deal. What does it mean for you guys that you're not only completed your first 100 years in this shop, but looking forward to the future, and what does that success lead, and why were you guys so successful here that has given you opportunity for this new store?
Like I talked about before, responsible growth, doing as much as you can with what you got, not over leveraging yourself from a debt standpoint. Growing 100 years is, that's awesome. You look at Kenosha, and there's a lot of Italian American businesses in town here that have reached that point, and we're proud to be a part of that 100-year club. And with our business, my great uncle Charlie had a clothing store, a couple clothing stores, and then my grandpa Fred and my great grandpa Pasquale had the shoe stores. This is our third location. The new shop is our fourth. 102 years, four locations. I mean, that's pretty good. We're not bopping around. Consistency is a huge thing. Retail's a grind. Every single day, again, is an opportunity to screw up or do as best as you can. So, having that mental commitment, say, like your retailer, it's a totally different mindset from what most people have. And being able to bring it 100% every single day, that's something that not a lot of professions have to do. It is a skill. It is a skill to be able to compartmentalize everything else and just be 100% in the shop every single day. And that's why we like to say, Chiappettas were Roman shoe dogs and fighters. That mindset of bringing it 100% every single day, that's what it is. That's work hard, play hard, being obsessed about shoes. That's being a shoe dog, and being a fighter. Being a business, you're gonna come into plenty of issues that you have going forward, and just being able to take the gut check and handle it all. So, 102 years is cool. We're definitely excited to carry it for another 100 years. So,
and it's a team effort.
Yep.
So, talking about team with your family, you've grown up with them obviously, and then also in the shop. So, what has it meant to have your brother Nick and then have your parents Lori and Fred to be able to be a part of the success of the whole operation?
The family part of it comes down to one thing: unconditional love. They're going to be your family. You don't pick them. It's what you got. That's what you're going to stick with. So having that mindset of you're always going to have to go home and talk to them later, that allows you to have those uncomfortable situations, and knowing that you're always going to be able to say, hey, brother, mom, dad, it's a fine line. You step over the line every single day, but there's still a line there, right? And you're still able to call them family. My brother and I, we've had a great relationship, our whole lives. I lived with him all through college. I always knew I was going to do this. I think he knew, but he didn't want to say. And, it's an honor to be able to work with family. And, that's really probably one of the success recipes, that being able to have that unconditional love is an honor to have. Not a lot of people get that. There's a lot of people, you might have a great idea, you got a business partner, things like that, and people check out, and it's always a problem. So, yeah. But,
and then growing up in the shop, what are some things that you learned from your parents that you necessarily couldn't learn in school? What's something that they were able to bring to you?
Pit orthics, I'll give my pops plenty of credit. He never pushed it, but that was a foundation. He started in the 90s, and I remember I got into mountain biking when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and I'd go into the lab and make little gloves and things like that with all the little materials and stuff like that. So, it was cool to be able to grow up into it. Read the book Outliers from Malcolm Gladwell. Read that. This is a pedigree. If you have the opportunity when you're raising children to give them time and skills that they can learn from a young age, you create a pedigree that people can build skill sets on for their entire life. that in and of itself is something that God gave me, and I appreciate that every single day. I work for it. I don't take it for granted, but that's something that, it's a thing of beauty. When you are a part of something that has unique skills or culture or whatever it might be, being able to be into that on a daily basis, not shunning it and appreciating it is a huge thing. So growing up into the business was, something that you don't think of in the moment, but once you get into college and you start thinking, hey, I know what I'm doing over here, might as well keep going. So, yeah.
So with the new shop, you mentioned we're about 2-3 years in where now's the time to make the move. Now's the time to build out Chiappetta Shoes to what people are about to see, what it is. Why now?
We've been looking for 4.5 years, 5 years. It was 4 years when we bought the building. So, we've been looking for a while. 39th Avenue, we were at like 120% capacity since 2018. We're busting at the seams here. Went back and forth. We had a specific size that we were looking for, minimum 10,000 square feet. Wanted a better location from a traffic standpoint. Just kept looking. Found some spots that would have worked out really well, but just too expensive. Stuff with family that we were, bullish on making a deal, but then just had to pull back and make sure that everything was good within the business and the family, yeah. So it was really, again, like I said before, just vetting out the best opportunity, always looking, but never over leveraging. And this building popped up. It didn't look good for a really long time. It looked terrible. The parking lot was a mess.
Was it pink too at one point?
What's that?
Was it pink at one point?
It was a rainbow colored awning. It looked terrible. And developer comes in 2020, guts everything out, cleans up the outside, redid the fascia, parking lot. By September, October of 21, I want to say. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So bought it, and we're going to be in under a year, which is crazy feat. But I've been thinking about it for long enough where we've gone back and forth with what we wanted to do, and we were able to pop it all, get it done as best as we can, and it's beautiful. It's nice. So
awesome.
Yep.
And then with you're staying in Kenosha.
Yep.
You've been in Kenosha the entire time, 100 years.
Mm-hmm. Still
staying in Kenosha. What has Kenosha offered you guys that you always want to stay in this city?
Community. My great-grandpa came here in 1918, I want to say 1919, something like that. He was first cousins with the Tenuta Deli family, and they were already here. And just had that connection. A lot of Italians from Cosenza were coming up here because there was good manufacturing jobs and good community. And at the time, they worked out pretty well. So just circumstance that we ended up here. But over the years, Kenosha has converted from a blue collar town with Chrysler and Jeep manufacturing jobs. And we have converted into still a lot of warehouse jobs and things like that, but it's been a great community. I will give John Ansaramian and the leaders of our community a lot of credit because they've taken the opportunity of looking at Illinois, looking at the taxes, and looking at a lot of the living environments and conditions of what's south of us by 10 miles. And saying, hey, we have this opportunity to create a border town that can attract a lot of businesses, and it's a great area. So I've been really happy with our community from a political standpoint, from a growth standpoint, and that's been the biggest factor. So yeah.
So we're a few days out from recording that we'll be into the new shop. Looks amazing. What was the goal of the new store when building it out?
Primary goal was space. We wanted to get at least 10,000 square feet of total operational space, warehouse and sales floor. Current sales floor is 13, or old sales floor is 1,600 square feet. New sales floor is 4,000-ish, a little over that. We wanted a bigger space. We wanted more inventory capacity, and just being able to scale out our pit orthic operation and just do more of what we have been successful at. So that was kind of the first primary thing. Second thing that we'll probably start playing around with in the fall time is more events, because we have so much more space inside the building. So looking at different opportunities inside and being able to do some really cool, fun stuff with some artists or some fundraisers and things like that. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's just, from what I've seen, there just gives so many more opportunities from what we can do, especially on the sales floor of the shop, and office looking nice, a little more.
A little more office space.
Pretty excited about that. As far as what we want to be represented as Chiappetta Shoes, are you looking at any changes, or is it our core is going to be seen through with the new shop, just more opportunities with what our messaging is and how we make our customers feel?
It's really solving problems. Helping people out on a daily basis, real life experiences, being able to be real in life, solving real problems with real people in real spaces. The whole digital trend of everything is kind of a joke to me, but still e-commerce is a big part of what we want to do. We want to take our expertise in pit orthics, scale it up online. For the overall business, we feel like we have a great opportunity, both location-wise and online, looking at the different opportunities there, creating our niche within the pit orthic community. So we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up for this year and next year. So yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Took about a year from purchasing February. We're going to be opening in February. What would you say the process was like, and what have you learned from it all?
It's been a long haul of a year between the physical part of it and coordinating everything has been crazy. So, I would say, if you're doing a project like this, expect to be checking emails at all hours of the time and pushing people as much as you can. It's been a lot of fun. It's fun to see something that you create in your mind actually come to fruition in physical real life. So it's just grinding it out, and just like retail, just making sure you get what you want and not overspending. So
yeah.
And
then last question, when it comes to what the new store brings, not only for our customers but for your family.
Yep.
This is an incredibly big decision. A lot has gone into it, financially, time. What does it mean to your kids, your wife, that you're able to bring with the new store?
Well, it's an investment in the community. We're growing a lot. Business has been great. It's a responsible, financially responsible decision that we're making, so we're not over leveraging ourselves. Business community wise, banks, SBA loan stuff, that all worked out really well. So, we're grateful for that opportunity, even in this environment. And, from a family perspective, I just had my third kiddo, 3 boys. I'm not going to force it on them, but again, it's pedigree. So being able to, give them the opportunity to say, hey, this is something you can grow up in. It's a great opportunity to go forward. And Nick's got 2 kids too. So, it's an honor to be a part of this. And growing, there's not really any other things that we would think about doing. So just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Dear customers, this is Tony Chiappetta. Thank you very much for the years of opportunities to help you solve your foot problems, figure out what you need for that seasonal event or whatever it might be. We're grateful for having the opportunity to help you out. And, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be anywhere. So keep coming. Thank you very much. And always reach out to us.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Thank you so much. Can't wait for the new shop.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ciao. All right.